Greg Jelas, here we are, episode 12 today. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks, Willie. Yourself?
Very good, very good. Oh, it's good to be back in here every week. And this time we're going to go down another bit of a channel. And today's question, I'll just go back to our topic for today, which is movement changes more than your body. So with our first question of the day, and we can both sort of answer these as well as we're going along and interpret things differently from a physical aspect and a mindset aspect that you've got. So why does movement have such a powerful effect on our mindset? Because quite often that we've spoken in the past is you need your mindset to even get in the right place to start movement, but sometimes it can be the opposite way. So why does movement have such a powerful effect on our mindset?
So the great thing about all this body and everything that you work with, Willie, is we've got a nervous system, and that really is where it works in with the mind. And that's why when you get movement, you start moving that nervous system, which actually then starts starting to change state. So when you change your movement in that, straight away you're changing state.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that if you jump up, if you're sitting around doing it, just doing virtually nothing, and then all of a sudden you jump up in the air and get active and get moving around. As I've said it before, is Tony Robbins does a lot of this in his all his programs, and virtually when you go to any of his events, he has you up dancing because he believes in that state change, and that is about movement, and that activates that nervous system, which gets the mind thinking in a completely different place.
Well, I've been to on that one around the movement and how it does change your mindset and gets you thinking differently, but just going to like breath work where we go down to the beach and we've got the sauna and stuff. Before we even start the mindset and the breath work, we'll just stand up and just wiggle your body about, whatever way you want to do it. It's just to get the flow going and just that bit of movement before we sit, think, and then just get into a nice space where we start the breath work. So that's where I do notice. But another one for me personally that I really notice is you can be, imagine you're stuck at home, you're not doing anything, you're not being very productive. Sometimes just to take 5-10 minutes of fresh air, just getting out, just moving, just going for a little walk. Mine is just down to the beach, down to the surf club and back home. It's like a 15-minute little round trip right there. But it's amazing just having that small little bit of movement just helps the mindset, and that's one that I've really noticed as well. But sometimes it's just could be just doing any sort of movement. I know people from our business network, a lady there who I coach, and she loves to dance every Tuesday night. She'll go to a dance class. It's just that movement. It's been free, and it sends off those endorphins as well.
Yep.
So, really good question. Anything else on that one?
No, I was just going to say the same thing. Dancing, especially the old school dancing, where they used to go to dances and that, and then when you got up and danced and really let go the energy and that type of thing, it just puts you in a different frame of mind. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So I do like to say, like, movement creates motivation, and sometimes just by moving it just motivates you, and then once you're motivated, then your mindset is different. So good answer there. Why do you think so many people wait until they're struggling before they look after themselves physically?
I think it creeps up on everybody. See, it's a little bit, we talk often about the mindset, how the hardest thing about the mind is it doesn't really affect you, and then all of a sudden it comes on top of you, and it's because you don't even know what you've been thinking. It's put you in that way. And I think that's very similar to that question there is why do we let ourselves go? Because we're pretty comfortable, and we stay comfortable, and then we get into a spot where we've all of a sudden overdone the comfort, and now we can't recoup. Like we start injuries and that, as you know, people come and try and do a bit of a run or something, and next minute they pull something in that, because now the body's not used to that movement. So as you were saying there before about the movement, that's why it's important that we keep the movement going, to keep everything active, because then it keeps us in right sort of training, right frame of mind, and also the right condition so that when we do try and do something, it works. But it's easy to slip into that comfort zone, and then it puts us into a backward zone. And that's why Bob Proctor's favourite saying was always, comfort zone, as much as we all love it, it's a dangerous place to be.
It is. And that can happen in many different facets of life. But on that one, why do people wait until they're struggling? Sometimes I do feel that been in that comfort zone, but people need to get so uncomfortable before they realise, I don't like this, I don't want this, or now I do want to have change.
Yeah.
I'm sick of being this comfortable that I've got to a point of being uncomfortable. So yeah, that's taking a couple steps back until they realise that they do need to move forward, and what are those actions. So I do like that one before they do move themselves physically. And what happens mentally when someone starts keeping promises to themselves. So like once they do start going for a walk consistently, or we could use another example like they'll go to bed earlier, they'll drink more water or eat healthier food. So yeah, what happens mentally when someone starts keeping promises to themselves?
I think when we experience the results, we start really appreciating that. Oh, that was worthwhile doing. I mean, even breaths. About when so many times we can be just sitting here and then asked to take in deep breaths and that type of thing, and straight away that you're getting the benefits from it. So yeah, it's always good. And the old story is that sometimes instead of trying to, how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time, if you do it in little chunks, it's more helpful, and you slowly progress further and further forward and get better and better at whatever you're doing. And like if it's fitness or something, you might just walk to the end of the drive, but then in the end you'll end up after some time of walking a little bit further, and as things goes on you'll go into a jog or whatever you may do, and you just get better at it. But it's about that reward of being consistent, and just keep on doing it. You've got to keep doing those little chunks and keep on moving. And as they says, that's how you eat the elephant.
Yeah, well, it's good that you said consistency, because I've noticed that with the run club that we do from Drifter Cafe every Tuesday morning, and then Red Beach Surf Club on a Thursday night. I've seen over the last year and a bit now that they've been running this run club, that you can see the people that have just consistently turned up. Not saying they're the super athletes or anything like this, but just the small, healthy deposits consistently are really starting to reap benefits. You can see the ones that have been there from day one and consistently turning up, and that's just become their new way. But it's not even just the fact that they're at Run Club. Then they're starting to look at the other things from the breath work that they also run these classes of breath work. And then they are looking after their health differently. It might be they do a lot of gym classes, and they've created their own community. It's awesome. And that's the thing is, you got to find groups, or create your own groups even, that it's a healthy environment, and it can be whatever it is, but something that you enjoy. It could be their dance classes, but when you're consistently doing those healthy deposits in this fitness bank, or health bank we can call it, you're always going to benefit great rewards. You create your own community, and then you start to look at other aspects to make it better, from recovery, from, I need to do a bit of yoga now, or stretching, or mindfulness, and this is where those consistencies really do change lives in anything, I feel.
So there's one little one I want to throw back at you on that one, Willie. So we're talking about like short bursts and consistency, how they work. So this run club you're talking about, so you're talking about the guys and people or girls that have been there for a while.
Yeah.
But if somebody was listening to this podcast and wanted to come along tomorrow, and they haven't done anything, but they've heard this and says, well, okay, maybe I need to take some action.
Yep.
And as we know, if you've got some coach or if you've got somebody helping, better to get into a group or a community where they're going to encourage you and help you along. And then it also gives you commitment to turn up the next day or the next week to it. So have they got, how would they look after? So you've got people that are going to be taken off go, and they're going to go. What about the person that just just wants to join? Can they join something like that?
Perfect, and that's exactly the case. It is an out and back, so you can go as far or as fast as you like, and we get to certain points, and it might be might be a 4K, it might be a 5K, right up to 8. Could be they might do the whole estuary, which takes about 11 or 12 kilometres. It depends on where you're at, but you just go to a certain point and you turn around and come back. So on that, because I had, with my hip and all that stuff, I wasn't actually running. So with our business network, I'd ask people to come along and we'll create a walk club within the run club. Because during the summer they were having some people that were walking, but then they sort of just naturally sort of didn't start coming or keep coming. But while I had my injuries, I was like, well, I can still walk, I just can't have all those hard impacts and it's just going to make it worse. So I've just asked people to come along and we've created our own little walk club within Run Club, and now other people have started coming towards it as well, because they might have asked the people that are running the Run Club, oh, is there any, I can't run, or I can only walk. So yeah, anyone can come along, and that's the thing. It's a community. It's not about how fast or how good you are at running. If those people are always welcome too. Those athletes can come along and have their blast, but at the end of the day, it's one beautiful community. We come back, we have coffee together. It's just good relationships, connections, and what a way to start your day at 5:15 in the morning.
Perfect. Oh, that's real good.
Yeah. Okay, our next question for today. Can discipline actually create freedom?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. As we know, a little bit about what we just talked about there. If somebody decided to come along and do that walk and that, and just keep on, it's good when you're with a community, like we've talked about before. But yeah, definitely, that's what really gets you moving. If you just keep that discipline of just saying, right, I'll just do that one thing and I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And after a while, it's virtually, I'll give you an example of my place would be emails. I've been doing them for quite a few years now.
I get them.
And I just wouldn't, I can't, no matter where I am in the world or whatever, I know that those need to be done. Yeah, sure, there's ways of, I can actually set up a few, so when I go away that there's a few there. But I don't always do that. I sometimes make sure that where I'm going, that I'm always got communication with Wi-Fi or something that I can get it out. So I make that. I always do my email every day.
Discipline.
And it's just turns into, I don't accept myself. It doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, wherever it is. I know that is something that has to be done. Now at the beginning, that wasn't easy, but.
No.
As you go on. So yeah, definitely that one discipline. Now it's just something that I know that has got to be done. It's going to be done, and whether how I do it, it's just important that absolutely has been done.
Yeah, so that discipline is creating your freedom in that one there.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love it. And I do feel that discipline in any part of your life over time is going to give you freedom in that aspect, whatever it is. And I know that discipline within the training or the health, the nutrition, the recovery, the rest, the sleep. So it's quite funny if any of those things start to get knocked off, how it does affect your freedom or your outcomes as well. And we all experience it at different phases in our lives as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Good one. Why do routines matter so much? Well, it's pretty much the same sort of thing around that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it gets you into routine. Once you're into it, it's pretty well something naturally you'll do.
Yeah.
When it's not a routine, when it's here and there, then it's easy to forget one and get out of kilter to the rhythm of that discipline or of that action. So yeah, routine is something like my morning routine is really important about. Just getting, and it's easy if something happened that you change that a little bit and do something different, and then you go back to the original one that you were doing, you notice straight away the impact of how it gets you back into the groove again of just feeling that way that you do with that morning routine. Yeah. So absolutely important to use that as a part of just those little actions, get them into a daily routine, and it just works.
Yeah, I do notice that the days that I don't do my routine as much, you just feel like there's a void in your life. Like for me, if I even said today to someone, I haven't walked on the beach for a couple of days right now, And that's my morning routine normally, where I go for just a little walk on the beach, depends, sometimes they can be big ones, but that fresh air in the morning, that just when you're awake, get the body moving, jump in that ocean. And I love it, people would say to myself, oh, you're crazy going in the water. And I'm like, yeah, I'm crazy alive. Yeah, it's uncomfortable sometimes, but man, the rewards after being so uncomfortable, and it's just like an adrenaline rush for your day. You start the day with doing something hard, we can say, that you've got uncomfortable, but man, you feel so rejuvenated. You feel like you've already had a win and a success in your morning routine.
Yeah.
And it just starts the day off like, wow, I've just tackled that already. Well, most people are asleep at that time of the day.
Yeah. No, the interesting thing on that is getting back to Tony Robbins again. He does a cold ice plunge every morning.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason he does it, he says, is because of just what you just says. He knows it's uncomfortable, but he knows that he wants to live in that uncomfort so that he will keep on challenging what he needs to do and things that he's going on in his day-to-day life. If we learn to be comfortable all the time, then we don't like being uncomfortable. And he finds that as a great metaphor to actually ignite the body into being discomfort, so he can go and straight away then go into a business deal. He can go and do something straight away that is uncomfortable, but for him, his system is used to that.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
Comfort, again, that's what Bob said, it's a dangerous place to go, because when you're comfortable, you don't want to get out of that.
No.
And that is a terrible thing, really is, because there's no way you're going to bring your potential out when you're staying in a comfort zone and just staying safe all the time.
I agree. And I've got a friend, JC, who every day, Monday to Friday that is, 5 a.m. he's at the gym. Doesn't matter how hard he's working out, but it's that consistency, that routine, the discipline. And there's days I'm imagining he probably doesn't want to get out of bed, or he doesn't want to get there, or he might not be that motivated, but just once he gets moving and he's doing it, that starts his day well, and he sets him up, and he's expending energy and all that kind of stuff in the gym, in that space. Then he'll want to eat well, then he'll do his day of work, and he'll probably sleep better as well, because he's done that daily action. And so that's just a healthy, disciplined routine that he's created.
So that routine that you're talking about, there's a big reason that we do it too, because we know damn well that the old paradigm and the old mindset, if you do, just like you says, you haven't taken a couple of walks onto the beach, well, if that ends up being a week and then end up being a month, in the end, you can actually lose that routine, because comfort starts standing in and saying, you know what, I don't feel like doing this anymore. You know what, I feel comfortable right where I am. And then that's back to exactly what we've just said. When you're actually into that comfort area, and you haven't had that shock of that, walking in the morning or your cold dip, straight away then you become comfortable not having it, and then that's where the routine can change, and then you can lose the whole desire to actually even do that thing. And that the mind works that fast because it wants you to be safe, and it feels like this is comfortable. Why am I doing that? And let's not do that anymore. And this is exactly why so many people pull out of so many things, especially in sports and fitness and that type of thing that you deal with, Willie.
Oh, 100%. And no, very good. I'd lost train of thought then. I was going to mention something there too, but why do routines matter so much? That's the one we just said. So what have working with teenagers taught me that adults could learn from? So this is a big one as well, because when I've been working with these teenagers and the youth in the colleges, because they're so fresh, and it's easy to help mold them into habits as well. They're still more flexible in their minds. They're discovering things. They haven't worked it all out, not that we all have, but I do find with youth, it's hard at first, and they might be in negative mindsets, whatever it is. But once you start to give them a taste in this, and they can start to realise and see these healthy routines, the enjoyment that they're getting from it, the results that they're getting, that for me is easy. But when I start to work with adults, they know a lot more. They've been here. They might be more successful in life and this and that, but they seem to be stuck in their old ways as well. I find it is harder to work with adults compared to the teenagers that I'm working with, because they have got a perception, or they've made their minds up. No, I've been doing this all my life now. So it's hard for them to change, or they don't want to change, or they don't think that they can change. Where the teenagers, they're like that anyway, but they do mould a lot easier. They're more flexible, and once they start to get it and they see it and they feel it, they change more naturally. So, but that was the question, is what have working with teenagers taught me that adults could learn? Well, I think adults could learn from just being more flexible, just actually trusting the process or the information or the experience that I might have or you would have in your mindset kind of work, and just trust the process and be open-minded to accept and to receive another way that they haven't done or they might have slipped away from, and to be open about their beliefs where they're at now, but to be open to maybe have just a try or a feel or a period. What is it? Habits are formed after 21 days or something like that. Yeah.
The big thing too, though, is what happens here is in adulthood is this knowing doing gap we talk about. Is they think they know it all, but they don't do it. And the reason is because now we're talking about, see, the older they get, the more those paradigms and those old beliefs and behaviours start taking control. And virtually they're a safety barrier. They're from something that happened way back, an experience that they weren't happy with, so that they're protecting themselves against that ever happening to them again, or any situation similar to that happening again. So you build a strong thing about this, and when they say I know, it's virtually what a lot of people are saying as they get older. They're saying, I'm safe and happy with where I am, not right now. I'm not going outside those barriers, right? And so you teach me something new, it mightn't be in line with what I'm familiar with, so I'm just going to stay here, and I'm just happy with what I've got, and I'll just keep moving forward, and I'm not going to grow any more on that. And that's a sad thing, because right at that stage they're admitting to a lot of things that are around them that they are not actually confident about, and they're not sure about, and they think that it's not for them.
Yeah, this is the way it's meant to be.
They're not, absolutely. Rationalising, which we call rationaling lies, telling themselves that, I'm good where I am and I don't need this anymore. And that's what happens with older people, whereas younger people don't think that. Younger people are still at that. They're still at growth. They're still at what am I going to do? Where am I going? What's happening? Who am I? What sort of a person? I've been told I'm this. I'm told I'm that. And because as a child, that is, you've got commands on you all the time. So you're coming out to this new world of adaptation of saying, well, okay, can I have a go at this? And it's the ones that we get back to what we were talking about before, the disciplined ones. Those ones that are disciplined and know what they want, then they are on their way. They will look for ideas to make whatever they're doing. They will be looking all the time, because they're not caught up in the idea of I'm happy in this space. Then there's the other ones that aren't going out there, aren't doing it because they've been actually hounded. They've been knocked back so many times. They've had so many rejections that they are very doubtful about, and then they're rebelling in a different way. And it's a way, so a lot of the time it's against society. And that's their only way that they are seen as significant, and they're seen as known, and as seen as taken notice of. And it's in a negative way, unfortunately, but at least it gives them the power of being noticed, because they weren't being noticed in the normal so-called traditional ways. So when you get that, and then that's where it all leads. It can go either way. If it gets the right people like yourself, Willie, around people like that, it's fantastic, because then you've got guidance, you've got somebody helping you, you've got somebody moving you in the right direction and giving you hope, and then giving you confidence. But then the ones that don't, that end up in jail, they end up in the wrong places. Unfortunately, it's a wild run in the negative direction.
A lot of it comes down to, and we've spoken about in other podcasts here, other episodes, is around the environments as well, and who we're with, who are the people in our lives, and what kind of things are you feeding into your mind, your life, a lot of it goes. It could be right down to feeding your stomach, but feeding,
Well, the environment, like you says, that's something since that podcast that I've gone through and checked out myself is what happens is we look for that environment when we don't feel that we fit, when we don't feel that we're in the environment that we're in and we're not fit, then we'll move into one where we feel we'll fit. And if that feeling inside of us is saying that I don't belong here, then when you get into a bad environment, they're all saying the same thing. We don't fit into society. And so that's where you can hear quite often, you've heard of some good people have ended up in some bad company. And that's why, is because their self-esteem, their belief system has given them the environment that they don't fit in the normal, what so-called, whatever that is, normal environment. So to be in a negative environment is more of a fit, because everybody in that environment is saying we don't fit in the system. So we now run alone. And that's why a good person can be with a not so good person, and they feel like they get on really well together because it's the environment that they feel more comfortable in.
Okay. Very good. Okay, what do we got next? Why is movement one of the best medicines we have? Well, I think we've pretty much answered that one before, with just by movement and routines and this. Why do communities become healthier when people move together? Well, that's with that run club, for example.
Absolutely. Well, you'd know about that. Yeah, I mean, you do a lot in community, Willie, so you know what happens. It's all self-motivation. The propel, of the motion of everything moving. Everybody, gets together, and everybody's the comradeship, the friendships and the talking and the old.
Picks me up as well. The environment of a group.
Absolutely. The big thing is, there's a lot of people. It in fitness. If you get in a gym by yourself, it's a pretty lonely place. And it's easy to listen to your own mind tell you, what am I doing here? There's no one here. Do I really need to do this? But when you've got one person next to you that's saying, oh, yeah, how are you going? And we're working together and we're talking, and next minute you're getting through exercises and you don't realise you're doing it. When you get 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get a whole community.
I've seen it. All
of a sudden it's like a gang thing and a team where everybody's got together and they're all got each other's back and they're all chatting. And next minute, it's not exercise anymore. Now we've turned the whole environment into, this is actually quite good fun. I'm enjoying this. Now, if you had to do that exercise by yourself, all alone,
to push yourself,
there's a good chance you'd most probably pull a pin on it and give it up. But because the mind will actually work on it. It will work, like we says, it wants you to be safe. It doesn't want you to get out of your comfort zone. So it's going to try and hold you back, and it's going to tell you, look, you don't really need this. But when you're with others and you've got some sort of commitment, and others are sort of holding you accountable because, oh, look, they turned up today. I didn't think they would turn up. They're here. Oh, they're doing well. There's a little bit of competitive in there, and the mind starts thinking, and you enjoy the company, and next minute you find out, and back to routine. As the more you keep doing it, after a while it's saying, look, I can't wait to get to that group. I can't wait to do the run this morning.
You create a healthy community together.
Absolutely.
And I've noticed that with sports teams that I've been coaching, and you've got I can use youth for example. So some of the kids that are just consistently turning up. And man, over time, you're really seeing the difference with those kids. And these kids might not be the most athletically gifted, but by those routines, discipline, consistently turning up, I should say. And then you've got some other kids that are naturally gifted, talented athletes, weapons, but they're not consistently turning up. And you can already see just the distance, the gap that is getting created, and that's only a year. I've been in that environment, such a big difference. But another thing that we've noticed with those ones that are turning up is quite often they're the ones that have more full wraparound support, which could be families to actually get them to the facility. They might be might have two parents that are actually at home and in a healthier environment. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there, but this is my perception what could be happening.
Yeah.
And then maybe some of the other kids that are not turning up, maybe they don't have that much family support. Maybe they can't physically get there. It's a lot more harder. They've got no one to drop them off. Maybe they have to catch 2 buses to get there. So these things can come into effect. But if you can really have a supportive community, then it could come down to like, oh, we'll pick you up. And that's where I've noticed with, I think it's one of the questions that we've got coming up soon, but we're running out of time anyway. But it's around a lot of the programs that I run or work, or pretty much all of them, is that we always finish with either a bit of fruit, food, where there's a connection, there's a sharing after. It doesn't just finish with the sweat, done, gone. We have a moment to reflect, to talk. We're sharing something together. It's healthy. It could be a protein shake with some of the rugby boys that I'm working with, a bit of fruit, could be breakfast cereal, these kind of things here that I'm doing with some of these groups. Might be just down to having my girls group that I have at lunchtime. It's where we have lunch together. And it's just a snack lunch, but there's a sharing, caring, looking after their bodies, helping their recovery, but putting good things into them, good energy. We've expended energy. Now we've got good energy coming in to refuel. And once you start to get into these kind of environments, I see these kids at the college and all day, every day now, and you can see the energy that they've got now, and it changes from their attendance and turning up and showing up, and consistency starts to happen in the rest of their lives.
Yeah. And when they pick on a goal that they really want for themselves, that all helps to just move them into that next level.
And right down to even the small things with that is like gratitude, or they'll help me clean up and put the rubbish away, and I'm making their shakes, and just the little appreciation. The bell will go and they've got to get off to their first classes and that. And they'll be, oh, thanks, Willie. And where some people could just be like entitled and, oh, yeah, it's normal. Someone's looking after me and I'll just walk out. But no, they always, all it takes is one kid as well, just to say, oh, thanks, Willie. And man, it just sets off that chain. Oh, thanks, man. Oh, see you on Wednesday. See you this day. And it's really cool. But that becomes a contagious environment and a healthy environment to be in. And that's where it's so important, if we can get as many people as we can to just have a taste of this kind of environment. Not just the athletes, and that's why I've got the other couple of programs. But there's so many other options out there, from run clubs to walk clubs to, I don't know, it could be cycling clubs, it could be sports teams, it could be playing croquet, I don't know. But there is different ways, could be horse riding, taking dog training in this, but there is other avenues, and it's about finding your passion, and I'm sure there's other people that enjoy that same passion, that there's a healthy way of using it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know your job there, Willie.
Well,
you're obviously passionate. You can see that, which is fantastic.
You can see my energy
fantastic
there too.
Yeah, no, that's good, because I mean, this is what it needs, help. There's a lot of kids out there, a lot of youth that needs that help, and you're doing a great job. And a good thing.
The future of our community as well, and they could be the business owners, they could be anything, they could be the school teachers or giving out to other youth, or whatever it is in the community that there is. Everyone's got a role and everyone's got importance, and it's just letting them understand that as well, and that self-awareness, and building the self-esteem of people as well. We will leave it there today though. We are at 33 minutes and 33 seconds I just saw. There's plenty more questions that we can always, but this can be another episode. And we're hoping that we can get along our first guest. We're at episode 12 now. Let's see what happens over the next couple of episodes and see who wants to join us.
Yeah, don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Right?
It's not putting anybody on a spot either. This is about, maybe they just like to come and ask me some questions, or even Willie some questions. And it's them being the interviewer, asking us guys what we think 100%. And our feedback. So it's just to help other people who might like to want to ask the same questions, and they're not available, but you come along and ask these questions, and you're welcome to. It's definitely not about when we say we want you here as a guest so we can drill you. There's no way. We're really curious to see what you guys would like to hear from us, and how we could help help you people or help people out there that you think, even if you want to come along and ask questions of people that you know would need and really benefit from that help.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. It's come and ask us the questions, put us on the spot so we can help whoever needs that help out there to understand themselves, because this is all about, once you understand who you are, the whole world's different.
Well, just as you said that, I've just had a couple of people come to mind, so I'll put some feelers out there. So if you get tapped on the shoulder this week, please respond. But we'll see what happens, and we'll just leave it and see how this comes along.
All right, Willie.
Cheers, Greg.
Thanks very much.
Have a great week.
You too.